Hi guys! Today we are going to look at the story behind Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. This is a story about a band that stayed alive through hard years and then found its big moment through one song. We will follow that path from the late 1970s to the song's rise in the early 1980s. The key idea is simple. This is a story of struggle, focus, and breakthrough. Chapter 1: The Quiet Struggle. In the late 1970s, a band from Chicago named Survivor was still far from success. Their first two albums were not famous, and they had little cash. The band's career did not look safe, and there was a clear lack of big results. Frankie Sullivan had to struggle through small, hard days in music. Still, the band did not stop. They began to look back at their sound and work on it with greater care. In those quiet years, hope stayed alive before the fight began. This is a very quiet beginning. There is no big stage yet, and there is no big win yet. But we can already see something important. The band does not get early success, and still it keeps going. That is where the story really starts. A few words in this part are worth checking. First, cash. Cash means money. Here, it shows that the band did not have much to live on, so the struggle was not only about music, it was also about daily life. Next, career. A career is the long path of your work life. Here, their career did not look safe. That means their future in music was still very uncertain. Finally, lack. Lack means not enough of something. Here, there was a lack of big results. They were putting in time and energy, but success was still missing. The phrasal verbs matter too. First, look back. To look back means to think again about the past. Here, the band looked back at its sound. In other words, it stopped and checked what it had done. Second, work on. To work on something means to try to improve it. Here, Survivor worked on its sound with more care. That tells us they were still shaping themselves. Okay, so that is the language point in this first chapter. Go back to the story for a moment. Back in the late 1970s, Survivor was still a small band trying to make it. They were from Chicago, but their first two albums didn't really take off. There wasn't much cash, and a real music career still felt far away. The band was facing a serious lack of success. For Frankie Sullivan, those were hard and uncertain years, but they didn't stop. Instead, they looked back at what they had done and worked on their sound more carefully. And here are his own words. "I was struggling to make ends meet. I was just a guy with a guitar and a big hope." That quote says it very plainly. This first chapter is about hard days, but it is also about quiet hope. And that quiet hope takes us to the next part of the story.